Hey guys, good evening. Welcome back. This is Donna Sharp with Holistic Well-Being. This is day 495 of doing these lives. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to be here. If you had been joining me over the past couple of weeks, we had been speaking from a book, How to Create Strong Family by Richard and Linda Erie. So if this is your first time joining, we spoke on many things, and it's mainly to assist individuals in preparing their children on how to to create a bond with them, number one, and the second thing is to teach them the basics of life that they'll take into adulthood. So I'm here this evening as a continuation to speak on another subject for tonight. But before I do that, I just wanted to summarize very quickly on some of the items that we spoke on. I know some of you may be joining me a week and a half later and wondering, okay, what part of the process did I come in on? I came in on it too late. So some of the things that we spoke about, basically my purpose and reason for doing this is because of all the time that you guys have at home. If you are not working right now, if you have all this time that has opened up, I do pray that you're using that valuable time very wisely. All right. So now is a special time to create that bond with your children. It doesn't matter what their age is. Sometimes you say, oh my gosh, I have young adults, I have teenagers, I have little ones. It doesn't matter. It's never too old. No one is ever too old to learn something. So I've been teaching on items such as financial process as it pertains to how do they write checkbooks, how do they do responsibilities at home, splitting the task up among the family, and just giving them encouragement of a payday to show them if you complete your role, what you'll actually get an end result. And we spoke about budgeting. We spoke about just all the responsibility. We spoke about how to create a bank account, the internal bank account, and how to create one outside of the home when they get a little bit older. So we've touched on many subjects right now, and believe it or not, some of these items are things that parents are not teaching their children. They are not teaching their children, not because of a deliberate thing, but it's sometimes just often overlooked. Hey, listen, the schools aren't going to teach them some of the things that you need to teach them as far as the basics, all right? They're going to teach them things that they may not necessarily use later on. So I'm going to encourage you, if you didn't get a chance to see any of the lives, go back a few days, several days, and catch some of them from the beginning and just share it with your family and friends, because I'm sure that they will appreciate you for the information that you've sent to them. But so one of the things I just wanted to tell you is that, a lot of people I hear, they message me and they say, I'm bored. I don't know what to do. Oh my goodness, what am I going to do with my time? I'm tired of being at home. Guys, I'm going to tell you, God never makes a mistake. All right. He never makes a mistake. So I'm going to encourage you that when this time opened up, it was not by chance. There's my gut, my spirit. You know what it told me today? It said, it's like the Lord just he took a light switch and he just turned it off. And he said, listen, I have to check in with you guys, because I don't know what role you think you're on. I was just speaking to one of my clients yesterday. One of the things I mentioned to her, I said, isn't that just amazing? Everyone is just going. They're eating out all the time. They're spending money on things they have no business spending money on, right? They're not saving their money. They're not finding a time to spend with their loved ones, valuable time, not this quick come and go as you please, right? They are not, hi Valentina, welcome, thanks for joining. They're not spending the quality time that they need with their family member. Everything is rush. Rush, right? They're buying these expensive things. They're going and getting all their hair done and spending all this money on their hair. They're spending money on their nails. And it's like the Lord just take a light switch and then go like this, shut off everything. And he said, listen to me. I need you guys to pay attention, because way too many things are happening. Everybody is out of control. So one of the things that really jumped out at me, I want to share with you that I saw that was just an eye-opener for me. They said, for the first time in 115 years, they're cleaning a subway system in New York City. How does that work? Now, if you think about it, New York is a place where everybody is on top of everybody. Everybody on top of everybody, right? You can barely walk, you can barely do anything. So how is that going to give you nice, clean air, right? How is that going to keep so many things clean? Because everything is on a fast pace. And most of all, if you notice all the people that ride the subway system, people come on, they go off. They come on, they go off. They come on, they go off. If you don't clean that for 115 years, I want you to just digest this for a second. You don't clean it for 115 years. What does that look like? What does that feel like? How does that affect the person's body that's going in and out of that station? Everyone's touching on top of touching on top of touching. Don't you think that this was bound to happen? This is just one of the many things that I actually it's just come to the forefront of my mind, and I'll mention some of the other things that jumps out at me as I go along. But tonight, that's the only one I'm going to touch on, because that alone is just a mouthful. So the time that you have now is because the Lord is trying to catch our attention. I'm going to encourage you. Look up. Don't look in front of you, because you might be disappointed at the journey that you're on. All right? And some of you may not segue off the road when you see danger coming, because you don't know any better. So pay attention. Allow God to be the person that's steering your life, and you're not making some of these decisions on your own. So with all that said, I'll come off on my soapbox. Tonight we're going to speak on college and investment. We spoke on budget yesterday, right? I believe that's what we spoke on. We spoke on checkbooks, we spoke on budget, and this again pertains to your children. It doesn't matter how old your children are. Young adults, babies, teenagers, and even adults, because some of the adults don't even know the proper way of doing things, all right? So we also spoke about adjustment for age. You know, some children, they can only learn at certain times, so you have to adjust it wisely. You don't want to teach them too much too quick, right? So tonight I'm going to speak to you on college and other investment, and just give you a little bit of insight and eye-awakening things. Maybe some of these things you're already aware of, and it just serves as a reminder. Now, we spoke on 10%, giving 10% of your income. That was a section that we specifically focused on. And I explained to you guys that it's good for your children to take the 10%, have it taken off the top before they get their paycheck. Because when they get their paycheck and they have the things that they desire, then it's going to get so enticing. They're going to want to spend all the money. Have the 10% off the top, put that 10% towards investment. That's only created in a deposit account, not a withdrawal account. Because the whole idea is for them to save and use that money wisely later on. Now, also 10% is on tithing. If you think about it, when you get your paycheck, 10% off the top of your check is really not much, right? So 10%, close to 100%. What does that look like? So getting that 10% off is not a lot. Now, here's the concern that a lot of parents have. And that 10% investment account, interest-bearing account that they're saving, they're concerned if it's even going to last them for their children to attend college. It's like, oh my goodness, by the time they're this age, is there going to be enough money to cover them for school, right? That's one of the biggest concern and worries that parents have. Now, the family economy system that we spoke on that several times. It's how the family system is set up and created at your home so that your child can get accustomed to how to bank, how to write a check. We did a segment on writing a checkbook. You, as the adult, utilizing your old checkbooks to teach them the good principles of how to withdraw, deposit, and balance the book appropriately. And also make sure that you're logging it. So we spoke on that. But the family economy system, right, it doesn't depend on any extra additional income. You're just utilizing what they're already earning, and you're developing that system for them. Now, it depends on the discipline that you and your children show, how much they'll actually save, and what they would otherwise spend. Every child is different. Every family is different. You have some children that are more disciplined at savings, and some may not be. So you have to meet them where they are and identify the goals that's going to help them to achieve what it is that you're trying to achieve. So on this subject, it's college. So you discuss what you want that to look like. Now, I have my take on colleges. I have my whole take on that, but I'll share that in another segment, maybe elsewhere. So, but in this case, they speak about college in this book, and they want the families to put aside the money, watch it grow, invest, so by the time they go to school, they'll have it. Now, it works differently for each individual family. Here's what they may or may not have learned. Investment is something you put money into that increases and appreciates. You want to make sure you're explaining that to your child. You're making an investment. You're looking for that ROI, right? Which you guys should be familiar with, return on your investment. You want to see what type of interest is going to accrue. If it's not accruing much, then it may not benefit you in the long run, right? So also in value rather than it decreasing or depreciate, and that's the whole benefit of the investment account. So an example that I have here of what an investment is would be a savings bond. Now here's something that's not an investment. You get your money, right? My teenagers, I'm speaking to you, my young ones. You get your money and you go out and you buy a pair of pants, you go out and you buy a pair of sweater, right? Or you buy a pair of bicycle. Now, unless you're using the bicycle to deliver, use on a paper route, you may be able to write that off. But on average, those things are not considered an investment. An example of that would be a savings bond, right? So here's the pledge that you guys should all make as a family, especially as it pertains to you sitting your children down. Make sure they're getting your undivided attention and vice versa. So as you're explaining this, if they have questions, make yourself available to answer them, all right? So 10% is saved off the top, as I mentioned, as a reminder. It cannot be spent for anything except investments. Investments accounts are typically just deposit accounts. It really should have no slips, so you should not be taken from it, right? Because sometimes, unfortunately, all of us are not as disciplined as we wish sometimes to make sure that it's going towards something good and we're saving it for a rainy day. We always want to use it now, but we have to prepare for the years ahead, right? So colleges basically qualify as an investment account because it causes one's earning power to increase dramatically. And again, I have my take on colleges as far as the way that they do things. And but I'm sharing that perspective with you from this book as it pertains, as it is. So a child who is paying part of their education with their own money, what do you think that's going to do for them? The several sessions I've had over the past 2 weeks, I mentioned to you, when they're in it and they're doing it, they're touching it, it's their money, they're spending it, they're earning it. Guess what? They are feeling that responsibility. They're going to appreciate you for that because you're not getting involved in that process. You're just there on standby so you can just give them, be a backbone, be a support system for them. So when they have any questions, you'll be right there to help answer it for them. But don't go too far, all right? Because they're going to need you. So I'm going to read this story. There's 2 stories in here, as I mentioned. They always share a story, and it just basically solidifies the fact that these children, they've actually learned from the process that they've set in place. And as a result, this is how they feel. So that's basically what these stories will be doing. So I'm going to read you this first one. And it says, we have told our children that they have to pay their own tuition at college, although we will pay their room and board. This is made possible by 2 factors. Their savings that have accumulated in the family bank and whatever other form of savings they've had. And number 2, a family partnership. We've put some of our own savings into and now own a little income property and some investments. The children know that they can borrow money interest-free for their tuition from this family partnership, but that they will be expected to repay it later on when they are able to. Now, if they are able to, we've told them that if a lower paying college is chosen, teaching, for example, or if there are difficult circumstances, the money will not have to be paid back. So they're giving them a nice option. The benefit is that even though it is our money, they're using interest we've paid them or loans from money we've put in the family partnership. They perceive it as their money, their savings, and their education. Thus, they value it more and apply themselves more seriously. And that's by Richard. This is the spouse of this family. And the second story is, after high school, I made an expensive choice, Boston University. It was a carefully made choice because I did have some other options and I knew that I'd be paying my own tuition. I remember doing a sort of cost-benefit analysis. Would a more expensive college pay for itself and higher earning potential in a broader, more useful education? The financial consequences of the decision were personal consideration for me. As the saver in the family, I did have a respectable sum saved up I'd have had a great deal more if mom and dad hadn't come up with a policy that we could keep our own money in the high interest family bank only until we graduated from high school. The interest rate was killing them. And I decided that between my savings and loans from the family, I could afford Boston University. I realize now, looking back, that my whole thought process was different and better. Then I'd had no responsibility to pay for college. And that was just the beginning. I thought about my classes differently once I got there, since I knew the cost, I knew the value, and I'm sure I applied myself more. And this is by Shawnee. She's one of the children in the family. She's 21 years of age. So as you see, Shawnee especially, she can identify with the fact that if she's embraced and involved in this whole process, then she's going to later on appreciate that and see that, I had to put some sweat equity in here, and I'm going to appreciate the fact that I'm moving through this process even more. So I wanted to share that little insight with you about college and investment, so you can get some clarity, understand some different things, and just have a different perspective for your children and share that with them and see what their thought process is on that. But get them involved in the process, work with them, answer their questions. Don't be pushy. Don't infringe your own beliefs on them. Just teach them the information and allow them to make their own educated decision and feel comfortable with it the way that they feel most comfortable. So listen, guys, this is Donna Sharp with Holistic Wellbeing. You can find me on holisticwellbeing.com, and it's spelled with a W, WHOLELISTIC. Most of all, if you found that this was very valuable to you, I'm going to encourage you to take the live and share it with someone else in your circle, especially if they have children, youngsters, cousins, nieces, nephews, and share it with them so that they can learn a little bit of tidbit from it. It's something that they'll never be able to get rid of. They'll cherish it for the rest of their life. If you love what you saw, hit the love button. But by all means, I thank you, as always, for your support and just following me throughout the entire, year and a quarter. But just know that I'll be back here again tomorrow on day 496 to share some additional insight with you from this same book, 3 Steps to a Strong Family by Richard and Linda Erie. All right, so if you have, I'd love to see dialogue. I'm looking for your comments. If you've hit the replay button and watched the entire live, then you can type replay. Guess what? That's your PEG system, your reward, to show me that you actually watched the entire live. And your payday is coming after that, because the information you learn will be valuable to you. So until tomorrow, I'll be back. I do pray that you guys are remaining safe and healthy, and you're using every single bit of your time wisely. Because this switch that the Lord shut off, this light switch on the entire world, once we get past this point and everything is completely revisited and refreshed and renewed in a different way, because it's not going to be the same way, then you may have a different approach. You should have a different approach to life. All right, guys. So that's all I had for you. I'll see you back again here tomorrow. Thank you again for your wonderful support. I love you guys. Sleep well and take good care of yourself. Have a good evening. Ciao.